We're live with YouTube too.
Okay, hi everybody, welcome. Today's show is going to be all about Halloween fun and games and family things that you can do together. If you have kids, even if you have teenagers, some of these things can be really, really fun. And we have a whole list that we're going to be going through today. Lots of props to talk about. And we're just thrilled that you're all here. This is a great time of year. We live in Arizona and the weather is really cooling off. This is Annette and what's your name?
Ichabod Crane. Wait a second. I have a name. I'm supposed to be wearing this.
No.
My name is Steve. I'm a happy pumpkin. So
It's Annette Steve Economides from MoneySmartFamily.com, and we are so glad that you are joining us today. So many great things to talk about for Halloween fun, and we just did many of these things with our grandkids a couple of weeks ago. Carnival, so everything was pumpkin themed.
Fun. Everybody was happy.
We had some out of town company to celebrate with, and it was just like us.
Okay, here we go.
And share, because when you like us and you share, Facebook says, oh, this is really something everybody likes, and they'll share it with more people.
Right.
So the reach is greater, basically, is what we're saying.
And we got Julie from New Zealand.
Oh, hi, Julie!
And Candace Roberts from Mississippi.
Hi,
she said
Candace.
we were frozen, but we're rolling now, it looks like.
Okay, good.
We are ready to go.
We're just getting up and running. We're still trying to always work out that we'll be doing great today. Okay, so we're talking about Halloween fun today. What to do besides just giving out candy and trick-or-treating can you do with your kids? And it actually doesn't need to be on Halloween. We did it a couple of weeks ago with our grandkids. We just had a Halloween carnival in October, and it worked out great. And so it doesn't have to be on Halloween.
Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to share a bunch of games that we've done. We call it Homemade Halloween. And we've always been kind of a DIY family. So we're going to show you some of the simple things we did. We consulted Pinterest and friends.
Yes.
And then just old games that we had, we repurposed. So we'll talk about it. But let's jump into it. We're going to give you about 16 ideas.
Yes, we are.
So here we go. Number one, water game fun. Listen, kids love water. So we bought some
Mini.
We were looking for cheap squirt guns, but you know what? We found some great Nerf.
They're like mini super soakers.
Alpha Fire. Oh, these things are really powerful. They shoot 3 streams of water. And because our grandkids are pretty young,
yes,
we wanted to give them an opportunity to be successful. So what we did is we set up
punch cups.
A stack of punch cups. And what I did is I painted them with orange spray paint, and then I drew different faces on them. Now, I should have done this a little differently. I should have sprayed the inside instead of the outside, so that they'd be a little shinier, and it would have been easier to do marker, because the marker was actually pulling off the paint. But they weathered the storm. There's wax on them now because we set them up between candles. So we had
Right. So we had 2 different targets, basically, for the kids to shoot at. Right. We put stacks of cups in the middle, and then we put candles on either side. And they were short, stubby, chubby candles. You can use pretty much anything. And
we'll show you what it looked like here in a second.
And then anyway, and the kids have the option of shooting at the cups or shooting at the candles. Even though our grandkids are 2 and 3, they ended up shooting at the candles. They enjoyed the candles and the water guns
all night long.
I know, all night long. Basically, they knew where the water guns were, and at any time they could pick them up and go shoot candles if somebody lit them.
And we had a bucket of water, a 5-gallon bucket of water next to this, so they could fill them real easily. They didn't have to mess with the hose. Made the game fun. Now, they were a little too young to make it actually a competition.
Right.
But they still just enjoyed water. For Easter, we did water balloon launchers, and they love that too.
Right.
So anything with water and stuff, kids love.
Okay.
So that was the
first game.
That's
okay.
number 1.
No, leave it there. Leave it there.
I'm going to take it out of the way so we can hold other stuff up. Okay. Number 2.
The second one is called Black Caldron. It is basically taking a black cauldron bucket, and you could use anything. If you found a large plastic pumpkin, you could use that too.
Or you could paint a bucket black, just paint it.
Right. And basically fill it full of sand and different party toys. The dollar store is great for that, the little party favors. I saw mini yo-yos there. There's all kinds of things. And in the Halloween section of the dollar store, there's spider rings and all kinds of cool things.
You could get little gems. You could
right.
get
chocolate coins. Yeah,
yeah,
you could just... So it could be toys, it could be candy. Mix it in, set a timer for 10 seconds, and give the kids 10 seconds
I would
to
give
see.
Them more than 10 seconds.
It depends on how old they are,
yeah.
and see how long it takes them to gather up the little trinkets. And
just don't pretend like they're Johnny Depp on a stranded island and put little bottles of rum in there. That just...
Okay, the third one. You made this. This is really super fun.
Pin the nose on the pumpkin or scarecrow. So, being DIY, and I was
Is that still up for them to see? Because they may not be seeing us.
Hold on. Okay.
Okay.
I forgot. So what I did is I took a piece of big craft paper and I just drew a pumpkin on it. Now, I know some of you may not feel like you're artistic, but this is for the kids. It's not very hard. It really, we just used tempera paint and craft paper, and it's about 3 feet wide. And I painted the nose and the mouth and painted some stripes on it. And it's not the greatest painting.
The eyes and the mouth. You painted the eyes and the mouth.
And then we just cut a piece of triangle.
All kinds of noses. And then the kids, we never even got to this game when the kids were here. But basically you put a little loop of tape on the back of the nose. And then the kids can, depending on their age, of course, if the kids can pin the nose on the pumpkin. If they're little, you don't have to blindfold them. If they're big, you can blindfold them and turn them around.
And we put this down low on our sliding glass door, and that way the youngest kids could reach it real easily, and it would have been fun, but we ran out of time. We were having so much other fun doing stuff.
Right. Okay, the next game, it's really more of a craft, is to have pumpkin sugar cookies. But once again, they don't have to be pumpkins. They can be any Halloween shape you want them to be. They could be cats, they could be witches, they could be, a skeleton head, whatever you want to do. We did a pumpkin theme, and then have icing and sprinkles and let them all decorate. Give them, 5 or 6 cookies to decorate and take home and wrap them up in a foil or saran wrap or a goodie bag and send them home with their cookies. So much fun for them to do depending on their age. Okay, here's the next one.
Okay, the next one is the jack-o'-lantern beanbag toss. Now, this one's back here. Now, you wouldn't know it, but about, 25 years ago, I took a piece of particle board, it's very ugly and old, and I painted a clown face on it. Now, the kids told me that clowns were creepy.
They weren't back then.
No, they weren't.
Back then, they were a lot of fun, but now they've been in horror movies and everything.
So I used a jigsaw and cut out the circles. And so what I did this year is I just took it and I got some orange spray paint, painted it orange, came in with some black and some pumpkin marks, and our kids are, in their mid-20s to 30s, and they go, we recognize that, we know what you did. But our grandkids had no clue, and they thought it was fun.
And it's pretty awesome having a husband that's got awesome art skills. Because I'm not the artist in the family, and he is, and it's great that he can do these things.
So what happened was we didn't really have a competition again. It was more like just stand next to it and throw the beanbags in.
Right, and so I wished I had time. I would have covered the beanbags with probably black fabric, but this is what we had from years past, and so we just used it. And our little 2-year-old grandson Jason, when we did it initially, with both the kids, 3-year-old Stark and 2-year-old Jason, they had a ball. And then later on in the evening, this was well after dinner, Jason was looking for something to do. So I gave him the bucket of beanbags, and he stood there and he threw every beanbag into the pumpkin and absolutely loved
He did.
the thing. Okay, let's take a break real quick.
He loved carrying the super soaker around all night long.
Yes. Let's take a break and greet some more people.
We will. I want to give you a link to these super soakers because I think they are the most fantastic squirt guns we've ever had.
Yeah, they are.
They really. So
they take squirt guns to a whole new level. These silly things.
Yeah, they are really good. So those of you on YouTube, you're gonna have to come over to Facebook to get this link because I have no way of getting that on my cell phone. So we're gonna say hi to some people. Oh, our good friend from Living on a Dime, Tara Kellum, is online.
Hi, Tara!
Hi, Tara.
Thank you for joining us.
Michelle Kane from wait a second. Wait, Guatemala? No, where's Michelle?
Puerto Rico. Michelle, where are you?
Oh, Michelle, so good to see you. We have Rochelle from Australia. Good morning. Hey.
Hi.
Hello from down under. Let's see, who else? Linda Harris, love the tips. Johanna from Houston, good to see you again. The temperature's cool there. We are going to be in
Dallas
next week, Wednesday through Sunday, attending a conference called FinCon. And if anybody lives there and you want to just head over to the Sheraton downtown, our schedule is so booked. But if you show up and send us a message, maybe we can meet up with you. It's going to be a crazy meeting. There's going to be about 1,200 people. We're speaking.
Actually, I think it's up to 1,500 this
it's
year.
A lot. It's a lot.
It is.
So there's a lot of people online, and it's
okay.
Awesome.
Can we greet some folks on YouTube?
I'll have to go over here.
Can you do that for me, so we can say hi? Awesome. We're just so happy you're joining us today. This is Stephen and Economides from Money Smart Family, and we're talking about Halloween fun and lots and lots of games. We've already talked through 5 games that we've played with or created for our kids and grandkids. Okay, so
it looks like Lorraine Perkins possibly is online on YouTube, and a few other people, and Julie from New Zealand. And
it's hard to see that feed, isn't it?
It is. It's really tiny. We're gonna figure a better way to do this, but for right now, we're gonna keep going.
Well, hi all of you. Okay, so the next thing, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard about this, especially if you go to church carnivals, is called a cakewalk. Although my thinking is, because we do the whole pumpkin theme, call it a pumpkin walk. They walk around, you put piece of construction paper on the floor in a circle, and they have numbers on them, and they just walk around.
You play music.
And you play music.
Not ghoulish music.
And when you stop, whoever has the number that they pick for that round gets a treat. Now, it doesn't have to be a whole cake. I've seen entire cakes given away. It could be a cupcake. It could be a caramel apple or a candied apple. It could be some cute little toy. It could be a couple of cookies. It doesn't have to be a whole cake. But that's another really fun thing to do with kids.
You know, usually when we have a party, now we didn't do it this last time.
Go ahead.
This is number 7. It's called Taboo. And what we do is usually we have a mixer, so as people come to the party, and not everybody's here, there's something for them to do before we start the official games. So the Taboo game is you hand everybody who comes to the party a piece of paper. It can be a 5.5, 8.5, just half a sheet of paper, with words that you cannot say. Give them a list of words, things like boo, creepy, ghost, pumpkin, mask, more candy, phantom, scary, spooky, trick or treat. And anyone who says those gets their piece of paper taken away from them. And at the end of the night, whoever still has their paper, because they haven't said one of the taboo words, they get a prize. You can give them extra candy. You can, give them
extra
stuff
treats.
to take home.
Right.
Give them one of the games, whatever you
Give
want
them
to
a
do.
cookie-scented candle or a pumpkin-flavored candle or so. The sky's the limit for what you could have for prizes for these things. Give them cinnamon-scented pine cones. I know people think of that as Christmas, but Christmas is just around the corner. Okay,
I mean, we collect candles all year long.
Yeah,
So it doesn't
so
really matter.
Taboo is a great game for older kids, obviously, right? So that's a perfect game. Okay, another one is called the donut eating race. And we saw this on Pinterest where you hang strings with donuts and you have 2 people going at a time, and the first one to finish their donut gets a prize.
Yeah, and they have to have their hands behind their back.
Right. No using hands. They have to just use their faces and their mouths and eat the donut. So, and this actually is a pretty fun game with teenagers. Really, it's hilarious. Okay, the next one, which is no surprise to any of all of you.
Bobbing for apples. And, I mean, there's lots of different ways you can do it. We did this with a group of young adults once, and they were so tricky. They realized that we left the stems on the apples.
Yes.
So rather than sticking their face in the water, they went down and picked it up with their teeth. And
It was hilarious. I mean, they've got their faces wet.
They did.
But it was very hard to get those apples, to bite into those apples.
There was
Holy
one kid
mackerel.
that was so aggressive that he actually put his head in the water, pushed the apple down to the bottom of the tank,
Yes.
nailed it against the bottom, came up with his teeth, and he won right away.
Oh my
But
gosh.
It's always
amazing.
fun. Obviously won't work for little kids. They'll be a little scared
Right.
putting their face in the water.
Right.
But it's a fun thing.
Okay, pumpkin search. is number 10, game number 10, pumpkin search. And basically this is great if you have little kids. It can actually be fun for teenagers too. But you go buy those small little plastic pumpkins. They can have glitter or whatever. And Hobby Lobby has them, Michael's has them, Joann's has them. And they all have coupons or they're all on sale. And you go and you pick a bunch of those up. And then however many kids you have and how many pumpkins you want each one to find, you hide them. Like say you're using your living room and your family room, you just hide them all over the place. And it's almost like an Easter egg hunt, only it's with pumpkins. And in that case, you want to see who can find the most, or you give them a limit, or I guess not really. You don't give them a limit like with Easter eggs. You really just say, go find as many as you can and really be good about hiding them.
Right.
And then obviously the winner gets a prize. Okay, next one, game number 11.
11, Scarecrow building contest. So you can collect different things. You can give, every team gets the same thing. So maybe a balloon for the heads, a wig for the hair, and you can get this stuff at thrift stores. Give them a pair of blue jeans, an old plaid
flannel shirt.
Give them some polyfill stuffing.
Yes, or pillows.
A couple of sticks, some rope. Give them a bunch of things
yes.
to make their scarecrow with, and just have a contest to see who can make
colored fabric, scissors, a stapler. You could put a glue gun in there, and let them be creative to create an actual scarecrow that you could set outside your front door. I could see this being a fun activity for teenagers. Oh my gosh, really fun. Okay, the next one, game number 12, is called Candy Corn Guessing. And in that respect, basically you take a really pretty glass jar, you fill it full of candy corn or the harvest mix that has the pumpkins, like kind of like this. I'm going to show you right here. So it's this kind of stuff right here. And people have to guess. This is great as they come into the door and you greet them at the beginning of the party. You have a little table with name tags, and then you give them pieces of paper, and they stick them in a basket, and they have to guess how many treats are in the jar. And the person who guesses right, obviously you have to count them ahead of time, but the person who guesses them right gets to take the jar full of treats home. What a fun activity. Just really, really fun.
And we do this, we have been at friends' houses where they do it at Christmas time too. They have a jar of candy or whatever.
Yes, special Christmas candy.
It used to be one of your standard things that you can do, and somebody takes the candy home.
Yes. Now, we can't answer all the comments during the show. It just is impossible to do that. So if you have questions or if you have ideas that you want to share, please put it in the comments section. You are all wonderful at coming up with those comments and those questions. And after the show, we will go through and we'll answer for you. We'll make sure that we go through and answer each thing.
And